Hey guys, Andrew the Realtor here with my last monthly market update for the year of 2021, if you can believe it. So, starting off with the roughly the first week of December, trying to get this out to you guys really quickly. Of course, I'll be sending out more of a Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas video a little bit later in the month. But if you guys don't get that, I certainly wanted to wish you guys, first of all, thank you for watching these videos. I know not everyone does, but certainly those of you that do, keep the information. Honestly, the market information has been pretty dead on because I use great sources. I don't take certainly all or even near all the credit for that. I've got some great sources in terms of information, and I'm constantly watching economists, business people, and those who have been in the industry for a long time, and I'm hearing their input as well as obviously looking at the numbers myself. Let's get right to it. Let's look at November of this year versus last year, and I'm going to answer a very important question. That question being, well, what about 2022? I'm going to make a prediction, and I have a feeling it'll be fairly accurate, not unlike the last one I did. So let's take a look at that. Here we go. Nope, where's it? Here we go. Okay, so move myself to the side here. So November of last year versus this year. The biggest difference, of course, you'll see in terms of price. Average price here is 1,163,000 versus 955. That is a huge difference. So those of you who have asked me for some home valuations, you've seen the kind of numbers I've given you. Well, you can see how this is happening. Now, in terms of homes sold versus homes sold this year versus last year, very similar. So November overall was actually a fairly normal November, but because of how busy the first half of this year is, overall this year will probably end up with somewhere around 120, maybe slightly more, 121, 122, 100,000 transactions or properties sold, which is going to be a record. And so, meaning that this year has been incredibly busy. Next year, we'll talk about that in just a bit. So the biggest difference here, obviously, is first and foremost is the average price. You'll see detached is up 30%. That's on average. You guys know if you watch these videos, the word average, take that with a grain of salt and everything else. However, it is a number, and it's incredible how high this is. Clearly not a sustainable number, as we know from 2016, 17 into 2018. That was important. So look at condos. Condos is interesting. You guys remember the very low zero numbers last year, 2020 versus 2019 for condos. Now they're up 18%. So those have certainly gone back up to quasi-normal. 18% in any market would have been a great return. It's just that it's lower compared to these crazy numbers that you see in the high 20s and 30 for the detached housing average prices. So the probably the telltale sign of all this, the big red one, is active listings. Now, supply and demand, historical low inventory right now, and has been. It's not that inventory was low the first half of the year. It was actually quite normal. It's just that the demand was so high that we could not keep homes or properties, even condos, on the market much longer than just a few days, which you can see by average listing days on market, 13, and property days on market, 18. And of course, that also includes some of those more expensive properties or poorly marketed properties. I've seen a few of those that have been on the market, 2, 3, 4 months. And then the mean, this is the average. The mean number, honestly, will probably be somewhere in the a 1 week or less days on market category. But back to the active listings, 6,000 in November of this year, last month, versus almost 14,000 November of last year, which is a lot more normal. So we're sitting at a very low, critically low inventory. And I'm thinking that is going to change. But for the time being, that is the case. And it's probably going to be the case well into January and February. So the main thing here, demand is normal. There are some still properties out there. If anyone's looking to sell, if you guys know of anybody, show them these numbers. Show them this video. I'm sure they'll thank you for it. I'm certainly have received a few compliments on this specific kind of thing. So let's go to the next one. Now, a couple of notes that I got from an economic summit just a little while ago, just to tell you why I think what I think when I give you the prediction for 2022. So here's the share of homes sold within 300 kilometers of the GTA. This will be interesting to you guys because you guys have probably heard that there's a huge demand for obviously for property. Homes are selling everywhere, and everybody's fleeing the city. All these sales, and there have been plenty of sales out in Barrie and really far out, Kawartha Lakes and out to like London and such. Absolutely, those places are seeing tremendous appreciation in property values. And of course, a lot of people did move out there. However, generally speaking, that has been somewhat exaggerated because if you look at this, and admittedly, 50 kilometers within Toronto, outside of Toronto, that does encompass the GTA plus plus, but still, overall, within 300 kilometers of the GTA, which is quite a distance, huge number is within 50 kilometers Only that small sliver, the yellow sliver there, is 50 to 300 kilometers. So the point of this being, yes, places outside, absolutely. But for the most part, people are still trying to stick within the GTA. More than likely, for commonsensical reasons, they want to be closer to work, which is probably somewhere in the GTA, be it Toronto or one of the immediately surrounding cities or boroughs, if you will. So there's that. So it's not quite what some people make it out to be. No one's just fleeing the city, never to come back. That's definitely going to change. Now, low inventories is something that has been it's been a thing that I've been harping on, and many realtors that have been in business longer than me have been harping on this as well. Take a look. Single detached. This is apartment units absorbed. Excuse me, unabsorbed, completely unabsorbed. So these are properties they're available, active listings as I like to call them. And single detached is the gray area here. You can notice this is from August 2010, past August of 2020, well into 2021. You can see it's not gone up; it's gone down. Inventory is going down. Active listings or things have been going down. The demand is strong. We haven't even touched immigration yet. We're still dealing with Omicron and these COVID-related things. Eventually, that's going to subside, where people are going to start realizing that the end of the world is not necessarily coming here. I say that respectfully. Next, getting to first-time home buyers, gifting to first-time home buyers. So after seeing what the market is going to be doing, okay, well, how are people affording these homes? I get that question quite often, especially young people. So obviously, bank of mom and dad is a big deal. Now, gifting to first-time home buyers, it is rising fast. I was surprised. My buddy Joe Bladdock, mortgage broker, some of you guys know him. He's contributed information to some of my business stuff and some of these videos as well. He's mentioned, I think it was something like around 80 grand. Looking at this in 2021, average gift in thousands, yeah, it is over 80. Somewhere around 82, $83,000 a gift for down payment. That's a lot of money. How do parents get that kind of money? Well, I can give you one easy answer. Did you see the appreciation? What do you think their home is? What do you think your home appreciation is at this point? How much equity do you have in your home? And some of you guys know that because you've asked me. So the point being, and of course, number of first-time homebuyers receiving gifts. Obviously, it's going to go up because the need for it goes up, and thankfully, through the appreciation in real estate. Talk about generational wealth, guys. A lot of real estate people talk about that, and people think it's corny. It's a conflict of interest. You sell homes, well, guys. I mean, you got to get this money from somewhere. I know how many investment things that you have going on that are getting 20, 30% annual interest, at least for the past few years. So next. Asymmetrical recovery. This is another thing in terms of who's being hit. And unfortunately, in terms of growth employment, this is one of the things that I covered. I think it was towards the end of last year. You were saying, oh, well, the market's going to be really affected. The market's going to go down. CMHC was saying these kinds of things because they thought, oh, there's going to be all this unemployment. And well, what they found out, this unemployment was predominantly towards the lower income sector, unfortunately, but that is the reality. That was the reality. I think it still is to a great degree. And in terms of growth employment, you will notice per hour, wages, this has been the highest. So those who are making the most, those positions have been increasing quite a bit more. So all that to say, between the gifting, between the low inventory and the way the market has been going. Now, do you think the market is going to get weaker? Do you think the prices are going to go down at any point in time? Do you think it's going to be anything but maybe a slower rise upward, continual rise upward? Let me show you here with the big question. So here's the main question. Let me move myself somewhere out of the way here. There we go. What's the market going to be doing in 2022? Now, obviously, I don't need to give you a disclaimer because I'm not saying, I'm not guaranteeing anything. Like God, I don't know the future. However, what's going to happen in 2022? Here is a very good, I'll say guess, but honestly, it's probably better than a guess considering what's been happening. It's going to be a more humane, I put word humane, version of 2021. So what that means is inventory is going to be a little bit healthier, seem a little bit easier on the buyers. That appreciation of 30%, that's going to slow down. It's clearly not sustainable. That's not the way the market works. So my points here, less overall sales. This year will probably go, like I said, over 120,000 sales, which is incredible for the GTA. Incredible amount of sales, record. Next year, probably be something closer to 100, maybe 90, 100. That's my guess. Meaning that it has to kind of wind down a little bit. There are these gaps, ebb and flows in the market. And this year, people have kind of squeezed out of the market, out of the pool of human beings in the GTA, between realtors and people moving in this. We've kind of squeezed all of the inventory out and trying to, settle the market a little bit. And while frankly, not as many people are going to be moving next year, more likely because of that. So that's the amount of transactions, barring some very crazy changes in COVID and immigration floodgates opening. that might change it. But honestly, I think it's going to be a slightly slower year in terms of sales. Appreciation will slow down. It kind of has to, because if inventory increases, obviously that's going to affect prices. It's going to have them not go down, but they won't go up as fast. That's an important difference. A bit more buyer friendly, although still a seller's market. It's been a seller's market for a while. It's going to continue to be a seller's market. However, it will be more buyer friendly. Why? Well, less sales, higher inventory. Demand's still going to be strong as per usual. Buyers will have a bit of a chance. Again, when the inventory is higher, the market's normal, which it really has been. Um, they have a better chance. Those buyers coming in, especially first-time home buyers who have had a very difficult time for the past 2 years. Interest rates will come up very slightly, probably 2 to 3 times next year. They were forecasting maybe more, 6, 7 jumps and that kind of thing. But honestly, looking at the way the market is, listening to some people much smarter than myself in terms of the economics, um, I doubt it. I doubt that they'll go. Certainly, they won't go very high. But if they do, it'll only be 2 or 3 times over the year, and it won't be anything too crazy. That said, it will have a slight effect on the market, but probably not a whole lot. I think overall, all these little things are going to be making a more humane uh, market next year. So unless inventory increases dramatically, this is important because undoubtedly people are going to say things are going to crash. There's a bubble. There's always somebody saying in the bubble. I don't know, maybe at some point in time, 30, 40 years, whatever, they're going to be right. But, it's like the broken clock being right twice a day. That's not really forecasting properly. So here are the two things that are absolutely positively going to make the prices not spike, but drop downwards. Inventory has to increase drastically. It'll have to pretty much triple. Now, remember the numbers I showed you in terms of what's available in unabsorbed, complete and unabsorbed units, freehold and condos. Do you see that happening? Inventory has actually gone down in terms of availability. So no, it's not going to triple in volume. And interest rates will have to go to something like doubling or tripling. We have to go into 4, 5, 6%. We're sometimes under 1%. We're what, 1.5% now in terms of interest rates. Are they going to do that, especially with COVID? Are they really going to do that? I mean, what do you think? And if you don't think, like I don't think, I think that the market's going to be exactly like this year, more humane, a little slower. That's what I'm thinking. Definitely do not look for the market to start coming down in terms of price. If you're waiting it out, believe me when I tell you, I've spoken to people over the past few years who have been trying to wait it out. It's not working. It's not happening. Get into the market now. Don't settle. Nothing crazy. Make a smart decision. Talk to me. We can make a game plan, even if you're not ready now. I've in the past few months have been able to help, or at least start to help form game plans, even to people who don't have a lot of deposit or down payment money. Even they have. There's some things we could do to help them out, and there's some things we could do with people with very bad credit, but maybe they have money. Got people for that. The point being, there's a way to enter the market, not just settling, but finding something realistic and good. And like these appreciating properties, your property 2, 3, 4 years will appreciate so much, and you'll be working hard on your own in terms of income and credit report. You're going to be able to finance something very nice and more aligned with your dream home within 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So, guys, that's the year. That's the month. That's the year of 2022 that I'm anticipating. I wish you guys a fantastic rest of this year. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate your time. I try not to take too much of it, but I do want to give you good information. This is the stuff people like yourselves ask me about, and I want you guys to hear it. So if you have any questions in the newsletter, obviously my contact information is at the bottom. Call me, email me, text me. I don't care. I'm even on WhatsApp. I'm on social media. Find me. I'm happy to answer questions. You got a realtor or your own cousin's a realtor? Fantastic. Still ask questions. I'm more than happy to help, even if it's them getting the business and maybe helping them out as well. So, guys, I'm happy to help any which way that I can. I wish you a fantastic rest of December. Stay warm, especially, well, for those of you who are not in the warmer states, there's a few U.S. people watching this. Guys, do take care, and I hope to see you very soon. In the new year and in the January edition of my newsletter. Take care.